Hello everybody, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, I'm nowhere near my microphone, just look. Welcome back to Patchpen Plays Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time, we investigated the crime at the police department, the stabbing in that evidence room. And today, the trial's going to focus on that, I guess. Because I guess if we can prove he was stabbed there, then we are also proving that he wasn't... If we're proving he was murdered there, then we're proving he wasn't murdered at... I will place the parking lot. Day 3, trial Fumu. Yes! Wait, this is also having a Fumu and ladder part. I hope it doesn't run as long as the last one did, that's all I'm saying. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. Which is a good thing! After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Anna! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. Hope they didn't hold you too long for the questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects, the police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? They agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky? We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's a trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. She doesn't much care to be proven innocent, but she's not bothered that we're trying to. It's weird. Trying to figure out the motives behind this whole thing, and I get the feeling we're not going to find out until we get more information on, oh, what was it? I can't bring up the court record. SL9. That's what it was. SL9. The 2 years ago case. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed-up trial. One of my duties as prosecutors is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. That's supposed to be an admirable trait. Well, very well then, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgewood, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls... Okay, is it gonna be Jake or Meekins? Or maybe Gant? Or even Gumshoe? Jake, Meekins, Gant, Gumshoe. Alright. I get the feeling Edgeworth wouldn't want to call Gant. Marshall, Meekins, Gant, Gumshoe. Marshall, Meekins, Gant, Gumshoe. Okay, wait, if we use okay, I don't think he'd want to call Gant, because, he doesn't want what happened yesterday to happen again. I don't think he would call Marshall, because we're going to call Marshall when we reveal the fingerprints. And I don't think it's going to be Gumshoe. I'm going to go with Meekins. The suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. There it is. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Goodbye. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir! I am Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've gotta believe me, sir. Actually, what we'd like to hear... Sir, I'm part of what you would call the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Okay, wait, how old is he? 22. He's like 2 years younger than Edgeworth and I. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me. Oh, wow. Not the judge. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir? Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. You know, if he's admitting to the crime, isn't that to our advantage? Though it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to record the evidence from that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Though the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted, and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Got it. So press everything. Which I would probably do anyway. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Oh dear. Yikes, now that's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. Da 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 do 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 do. I was so sure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. Wow. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the awards ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Wouldn't that be where a lot of the running around was happening? Well, I mean, actually, sorry, we have a record of exactly how much running around was happening in that room on that day. That is not it. Which is weird. Like, okay, if the whole point of the day was that they're moving evidence back and forth, why isn't there more activity in this room? Isn't that weird? Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. Oh, wait. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here on my neck, sir. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is! I found it! It's the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 5989596. That's our number, sir. I see. But the number 4989596, it is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... yes, sir. That's when I spotted the man on the security screen. Okay, wait. So now that we know the Blue Badger was in the room when it happened, that means it's probably related to this portion of the case. Anyway, I was only doing what I was trying to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you've just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be. When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. With blood on your hand. Was that found out the body? Right, because we found the body. It had and it had 2 blood types on the shoe. Did we examine the coat? I mean, we didn't. Did they examine the coat? We need to have someone examine the coat. Because if you grabbed the collar with blood on your hands, you would have gotten blood on the collar. I'm not sure where that would lead to. I fought for my life! Then I did it! What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. I see. Must have been desperate. Next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And the next thing I knew... Yes? He punched me right in my face, sir. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. So he removed an object from the scene. An object that we do have in our court record, so I'm inclined to believe that means something. As the object was moved there, he moved it. We have the time he moved it there. .50. And then he went in there and did the stabbing stuff all at 5:14. And then at some point after it, he moved it back out. Wait, didn't they just say when? Edgeworth, read the testimony of the other officer. I wish I had, a note for that. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Ah! Yes, Officer Meekins? With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Sorry. Who sends evidence to the suspect's cell? That's who! Why is the chief of police delivering evidence to the suspect's cell? Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir! The chief delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir! That's absolutely right, sir! A videotape, sir! It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. Objection! What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape and was told it had been mistakenly erased. It's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. It's never been better. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Oh, is it gonna be animated? It's gonna be... Oh. Oh man, that's fantastic. Oh wow. 3D models and everything. Ah. Of course. Okay, I gotta watch it again, but man, whoever was behind that under that hat got real lucky with the whole Blue Badger thing. I'd say. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Oh boy. Okay, can we... Can we look at it again? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, that makes sense. It would be the coat. It's absolutely the coat. Let me think. Let me think. So they got the... You got blood all over it. You stash it somewhere no one else can access it. That way you're not walking back through the police department with blood all over your coat. So the culprit is whoever owns that box. Because I noticed at the end that it was there. Right? Which, I was like, was that there the whole time? And then when I restarted looking at it, it wasn't. But the other thing I noticed, and let's see, right there, the victims, that's the victims box, right? Wait, is that the one that is the one he opens later, right? Yeah, so that's absolutely the victim's box. So it was already open. Or it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't open, but it was like, maybe Maybe Marshall has the ability to, like, bypass the locks from his security thing. And he just pushed a button and that opened it. Okay. Okay, so I think I've already picked apart quite a few of the twists here. At least a couple. How did this get to the crime scene? Alright, because the record shows that all of this did happen at so this was removed at least half an hour prior, removed from the evidence room at least half an hour prior to that. Because otherwise it couldn't have possibly wound up at the prosecutor's lot. So we have a half-hour drive. So that would leave it as either Edgeworth or Sevens. Which I'm going to go out on a limb and say that between Gumshoe and Gant, the only people remaining... Oh, wait, it could have been Marshall. Okay, so we got Gumshoe, Gant, and Marshall. And maybe Angel still has a number in the system that, like, was assigned to her, but just isn't anymore because, you know... It would seem weird for them not to, like, deactivate her access, though. And we've got no inkling that she was there at all. Like, she doesn't work there anymore. So between Gumshoe, Marshall, and Gant, I'm going to guess... I'm gonna guess Sevens is Gant. So Sevens took evidence from Goodman's locker. Or possibly somebody long before February 21st. Alright, let's continue. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone, in the evidence room, and some sort of, activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Okay, I can already tear this one apart. Oh. Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have had to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Alright, let's, Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? As the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, if you must have labeled people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter. The latter. But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him. I bet my badge on it. But you don't know for that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label his stairs as disturbing or not disturbing? Because. Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claim that the man who brandished the knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you were positive it was him. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. I only respond to registered fingerprints, sir. Wonder what kind of methods he's tried. The man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints. Then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir! And this too. How do you know that information? I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir. People in the know. The workers at the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir. For the record, the opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. The victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir! If I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you're the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into the body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is... unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Yeah, there's a problem. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there was one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edward? I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in this video. What? You mean I don't get to just claim it was there and have you all believe me? Of course. Duh. Would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. Want a problem in the video? It's the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. And why couldn't that have been done the first time? Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Okay. So, A is fast forward, B is pause, X is read. That is why. That is... it would have to be this. Well, it is strange. Hold on a second, I need to use my eye drops. Oh, well, I don't get it. But do you mind if I borrowed your eye medicine? Don't look at me with those blue eyes. Your eyes get too teary, perhaps you should think of this again. Play the video again. Okay. Okay. A is fast forward. B is pause. X is rewind. And Y is present. Like that. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins? Sir? You mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match... Okay, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Okay, how... let... Ba 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 ba. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Are you kidding me? Also, the music is still playing forward. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh, well, just goes to show that novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes, why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, one thing I should... Excuse me for a moment. This isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the system's sensor? Something jammed the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so. What? There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage. Okay. I really wish I had fast forwarded in backwards versions of this. I mean, the other out of place thing was this at the end. But that doesn't make any sense. It's like the thing that, I mean, it's not like his thing is being held open by that. And even if it was, it's kind of irrelevant to the locker that we're trying to contend it is open. Oh, Wait. I saw it. Oh, it's the glove. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out in real great distances when I open that car door, sir. We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? And inserted. I am absolutely going to cut a whole ton of these scenes out. Just lengthy scenes showing what we already know. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it can stand the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, it just might have been something that fits the description. Sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. It is as if the item that the object was like shown in the video. Very well, the defense please present the relevant evidence. What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. Well, it says SL9 too. But whatever. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir? It would appear so, sir! Order. So we are to believe then that the victim, from this witness stamped in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman. Objection! Do not be misled, Your Honor. Oh, what do you mean, Mr. Etruth? Our defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in this video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. He's making us do the work for him. Okay, so like I was just thinking, wouldn't it be better for us if the victim was Goodman? And furthermore, wouldn't it be worse for Edgeworth? But he's not doing this to prove that the guy at the scene was Goodman. He's doing this so we disprove it for him. Ah. You're a genius. Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh! You mean that, sir? Of course, sir. This is a joke. Very well. Begin your testimony. Is one of the things that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir? Went to the evidence room, one must use their ID card. Oh, when an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card. ID card record, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim. Okay, wait. Just before the crime, Yes, this without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. Okay, so what evidence do we have related to ID cards? And we have that. The actual ID card. Wait a minute. The important information here is this part right here. Found at prosecutor's office crime scene. Well, no, because that's where we found the body, too. At the same time. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, but that is what we're gonna wind up proving. Is that it wasn't him at the police department, and so he shouldn't have had... But wait! Now that's just confusing. What does that prove? Proves he couldn't have... But if, like, his ID card was clearly used there at the time, what does that even prove? I was thinking, oh, this is an ace in the hole, because he didn't even have his ID card too. But he did have his ID card there. Ooh, somebody did. Wait. Somebody else had his ID card. What would that... And they planted it at the scene? At the other scene? Make it look like... Okay, carry on. And that's the other major ID code referencing piece of evidence. Oh. 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 His number is clearly printed on his ID card, right? So, if he got the second digit wrong, right? That would imply that not only did he not remember his ID, but he didn't have it on him. That's what the item lost is. So somebody else had his ID. Proven. Or at least not proven. But at least strongly suggested? I don't know. What else do we got? Marshall's fingerprint. Okay, wait, where's the flu plans? We do a bunch of stuff on the flu plans. The blood, mostly. Not you. The other flu plans. Oh, wait. So this one on the left was Marshall. The middle was Gumshoe. No, the middle was unidentifiable, but there was also Gumshoe prints there. Left was Marshall. And then the puddle. Okay. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. However, there's so few people... See, I asked the same question. This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Why? Wait, is this not what I thought it was? Examine the tag. Tag says AI-16. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing, apparently. At least that's what Edgeworth said. That makes it seem all the more suspicious. Who knows? This might turn out to be the clue that breaks the case. Wouldn't that be nice? Wait. So if the screwdriver isn't what I thought it was, what does that mean? I mean, it just makes it less relevant to everything, I guess. Violent cases involving police staff. I mean, that was the Mia Fey one. Mia Fey's not police staff. So I guess... I mean, it's nothing. I guess that's it. I mean, I don't know where I could go with that. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too. Although it doesn't make much of a difference. I mean, that was where he got that, right? I mean, that's why he went into the room. And that's what we were talking about when we went over it, right? That's why he went into the room, was to get that item from, apparently, his locker. There are only a few cases up for transfer there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I say. Now let's move on to the cross-examination. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this is rock solid, do you? Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards? Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. Or if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it in the open like that. Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. I remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car. Well, the remaining time it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer only has one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. An ID card is used as a record of it. At the time of the... Wait, sorry. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Miss Sir, yes, that's what we at. Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all of this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence. Oh, is that man in blue a murder? Wait, you got the wrong color, kid. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. He just panicked. Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Sir, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth miss something like this. You think too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. What do I present here? Probably this. Or maybe... Yeah, because this was somewhere totally different. Yeah, because we don't have proof that this thing is about the ID card. We know that this is... Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue. Okay, so maybe we could have gone with either. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Well, I'll start from report. It's only half complete, but it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. It's gonna be thank you. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. And second, the victim lost his ID card. You smug genius. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes? What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't gonna end well. Well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location. The underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. Wait a minute, okay. So my theory was that it did take place there. And we still haven't pointed the finger at Marshall for being the costumed assailant. Or assailee. He did assailing, he got assailed. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, in this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Just a moment. I'll tell you how. We're gonna save. Because this has gone on about an hour. Although I'm going to cut a little bit out at least. And... where did that? How do we have that? See, I actually believe that it was at the police station. But I also believe in everything we just proved. Okay, yeah, okay, so the video doesn't even show the murder, but the murder was there? Okay, I can examine this in detail. That doesn't really do much for me. Oh. How does that happen? Oh, it's up and down. Wait a minute. Where's the video? Where's the video? Where's the video? Where's the video? So there's no way. There's no way that this happened during the crime. The crime on video. So that's gonna prove that something else happened in this room. And from there, it's a matter of figuring out what. Alright, we got it. I got it. I got it. I figured it out. And I can tie things together. And all we're gonna need from that point is probably some SL9 stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna spend the next episode proving, I suppose. I'll see you all then. Yeah, I did save. Stop.